The country that gave us the Eiffel Tower and Champagne also just happens to be the greatest rugby nation to never win a World Cup. For so long in French rugby, it has been a case of close but no cigar. Les Bleus were a powerhouse in the rugby world for so long, making it to the Rugby World Cup final on 3 separate occasions. The Blanco and Sella side of 1987 were the first to do it at the inaugural World Cup. The 1999 outfit with try-scoring machine Christophe Dominici did 12 years later to take on the Wallabies, and the Thierry Dusautoir-inspired team of 2011 defied all odds to come oh so close against the All Blacks in the land of the long white cloud. But there was one thing that all these teams had in common, and that is French flair. But something changed after the 2011 World Cup. France, who were once a mainstay amongst rugby elites, had dropped down the pecking order, which led to some drastic changes. These changes have led to a renaissance in French rugby, thrusting them straight back into the conversation of the world's best team. In the process, they've managed to get both their flair back as well as their mojo. The scary truth about all of this that nobody is noticing, though, is that this is just the beginning, and there's plenty more to come. If you don't believe us, stick around and we'll show you exactly that as we take a deep dive into the heart of French rugby. To emphasize the point that French rugby was in a difficult place during the 2010s, we'll look at their track record during this time. France have always been regular recipients of the Six Nations, winning the tournament on 5 occasions during the 2000s. But things would take a turn for the worse as French rugby said au revoir to a number of experienced campaigners in the team. During the 2010s, France would end stone last in 2013 and place in 4th on 5 occasions. At the 2015 World Cup, they would be put to the sword by New Zealand in the quarterfinals, thanks to a Julien Sauvaire hat-trick in a 62-17 demolition. In 2019, history would repeat itself as they would once again exit at the quarterfinal stage, only this time it was to Wales. Something had to change, and change it did. While many in their position would have focused on the here and now, French rugby decided to look to the future. Top of the shopping list was to introduce former World Rugby Player of the Year Fabien Galthy as the new head coach. Donning his trademark black glasses, Galthy immediately signaled for change, introducing a new crop of young and exciting players into the mix and giving them the freedom to express themselves on the field. Under their new coach, France's worst finish in the Six Nations has been as runners-up, with their best finish being a Six Nations title in 2022. Not only did they win the title, they did so in fine fashion, picking up a Grand Slam along the way to go with an unbeaten season. France went into the World Cup in 2023 as one of the favourites, especially considering that they were on home soil. They defeated the All Blacks in the opening game and so nearly lost out to the Springboks in the quarterfinals. In a game of inches, it could well have been a French victory had Thomas Ramos's kick not been charged down by Cheslin Colby. With the new regime, France boasts a win record of 77% since 2020. Surely this can't simply all be down to the change in head coach? Well, Galthy has surrounded himself with a team capable of doing the business. Amongst them are former French hookers Raphael Ibanez and William Silva. They have also included the expertise of a few foreigners, Englishman Sean Edwards and former Springbok kicking ace Vloxilius. If that wasn't enough, they even have former World Cup final referee Jerome Garce on the speed dial to advise on discipline and refereeing. This has all allowed for the players to flourish, which brings us to our next point, the players. This current group have something special about them and a belief that they can beat any team on their day. Of course, the first name on the team sheet is the supremely talented Antoine Dupont. Dupont has at times single-handedly carried the French rugby team on his shoulders to victory, and the hope of the nation rests with him performing. As great as he is, rugby is a team sport and it requires a team effort. Fortunately for him, he has a number of stars around him who are excellent players in their own right. Romain Ntamak, Damien Penaud, Gregory Aldrit, and Charles Olivon are just a few in a group of phenomenal players. What do they all have in common? Well, they're young, hungry, and capable of backing it up. But where do these players keep coming from? Well, that leads us to another factor in the scary truth behind it all. French rugby have put the time and effort from the ground level to consistently produce incredible young talent. While the French domestic sides of old were filled with overseas-based stars, hogging all the game time and the headlines, there seems to have been a shift. Yes, teams like Toulouse and Montpellier, who tend to dominate European rugby, still have plenty of foreign players in their ranks, but the Frenchmen among them are given ample opportunity, and in a side like Toulouse, it's the French players who are carrying the team. But this all stems from young players coming through the ranks to get their opportunity, and no country in the world at the moment is seeing as much success at youth levels. What evidence do we have to back up that statement, you may ask? Well, since 2018, there have been 4 under-20 World Cups, due to 3 tournaments being cancelled between 2020 and 2022. Of these 4 tournaments, France have made the final on every occasion, winning 3 tournaments in a row. Many of the players currently in the French side have been members of these under-20 sides in the years prior. Much like the great All Black side of 2011 to 2015, their success at under-20 level from 2008 to 2011 foreshadowed the achievements to come. French rugby is no different, and for all we know, they could dominate world rugby for the years to come. The scary truth is that they keep getting better. But it's not only in the 15s game that they've found success of late. No, even on the 7s circuit they've been thriving. France recently hosted the 2024 Olympic Games and were adamant on making their country proud. They recruited the earlier mentioned Antoine Dupont to their ranks, and what a masterstroke that turned out to be. Many doubted whether the 2021 World Player of the Year would be able to adapt so suddenly. Within no time, Dupont proved to be the best player on the field as France continued soaring to victory. France became only the 2nd ever side to win an Olympic gold medal for 7s rugby. Where are all these achievements suddenly springing from? Well, to find that out, we have to go behind the curtain. It all begins with GIF. The acronym of GIF loosely translates to Academy Trained Players. As alluded to earlier, young players are getting their shot at club level. GIF have put in place stricter regulations in the top 14 and Pro D2 leagues to ensure that players coming through the ranks are selected. In turn, they're investing time and effort into the young homegrown talent instead of sourcing their stars from other countries. On game day, every French professional side must have at least 16 academy-trained players in the matchday 23. To go even further, the academy players do not necessarily have to be French. Yes, while they are looking to produce local talent above all else, a few French clubs have set up scholarship programs to lure in future stars from other nations. A great example of this is the deal struck between the world's best rugby school, Grey College in South Africa, and Montpellier. This has only been in operation for about 7 years, and so the plants are only beginning to bear fruit. As the domestic clubs look to bring in young, up-and-coming stars from top rugby schools around the globe, they also ensure that they can fulfill their quota for academy-trained players. Their academies are some of the best in the world, with large sums of money invested into having access to the best facilities available. With funding, foresight into the future, and French flair at all-time highs, future success is almost guaranteed to follow. Yes, it is a scary thought that this is only the start of French rugby's resurgence, and we're certain that there is plenty more to come. It's only a matter of time before the next Antoine Dupont jumps at the opportunity given to him. Whether we will see this current group of French players lift the Webb Ellis Trophy, or whether it will be the next generation to come, one thing is for sure: French rugby will be challenging at the top for many years to come. Well, that's all we have to say about French rugby today, but now we'd love to hear what you think and why you believe they've turned things around so drastically. As always, thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed the video. Go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on post notifications for plenty more rugby content. Until next time, bye for now.